Hello and welcome to enrollment tutorial number 2, submitting the required documents. Thank you for your interest in OHDELA. We're super excited to have you and your student joining our online learning community, and we're excited that you're viewing this video to learn more about the required documents and how to submit them. So you've submitted an online application, what now? Once the application is received in the admissions department, you'll receive an email from your admissions counselor which has a list of the required documents, how to submit the documents, as well as your admissions counselor's contact information. This way you can contact them at any time with questions directly. If you're watching this video and you have not submitted an application, you can go to www.ohdela.com and click on the gold Enroll Now button, which will take you to the enrollment page and the link to the online application. It is very important that before you start to submit documentation, you do make sure to submit the online application first. Any documents that we receive that we don't have an application for, we cannot process. So please make sure that you do submit an application. If at any time while you're filling out the application, you're a little confused or want to know how to fill it out, you can always watch enrollment tutorial number 1, submitting the online application. The required documents. So in order to complete your student's enrollment and application with OHDELA, there's some documents that we're going to need from you. That's the birth certificate, a copy of valid state-issued photo ID of the parent or guardian, custody documents if it applies, proof of residence, SHOT record or SHOT waiver form, the income verification form which will be emailed to you, the records request form which will also be emailed to you, SPED documents, for example IEPs, ETRs, or 504s if it applies, a recent report card or transcript, and for independent students, you must submit proof of income, and we will touch on that later in this presentation. Please make sure that when you submit the birth certificate that the image is clear and legible. It's very important that we were able to see the parent or guardian name, the student name, and the date of birth. As you can see in the picture image, it's very clear, you can make it all out. That is very important when submitting the birth certificate. For valid state-issued photo IDs, we can accept a driver's license, a passport, or a non-driver's license or state ID. Please note that when you submit your valid state-issued photo ID that the ID itself has not expired. As you can see in both examples, one expires in 2020, the other in 2019, so they are both valid. You want to check that before you submit it. And if you do have any questions at any time about the ID, you can always reach out to your admissions counselor. Custody documents. This is only if it applies to your student. If there are custody documents involved with your student, we will need a copy of those at the time of enrollment. We will need the entire document. All custody documents must be filed and stamped by the courts. Any custody documents that don't contain the court stamp, we will be unable to accept. So per the Ohio Department of Education, power of attorneys, grandparent power of attorneys, guardianship papers, we can accept those as long as they have been submitted to the court and stamped. If at any time you're looking at the custody documents and you want to make sure that it's acceptable, you can always reach out to your admissions counselor and we'll be able to tell you that for sure. Proof of residence. We can accept for proof of residence a utility bill, that's gas, water, electric, or internet, a bank statement, mortgage statement, rental or lease agreement, and paycheck stub. Any document submitted has to be within 60 days of the date of enrollment, and we need to see the entire bill, not just the bottom portion or the top portion. We need to see the entire thing. And you only have to accept, we accept those, you only have to submit one. We cannot accept rent receipts, credit card statements, prepaid card statements, pictures of pieces of mail, handwritten letters, phone bills, or junk mail. We cannot accept any utility bill that has a disconnect or shut-off notice. If you are unable to provide any of the acceptable forms of proof of residency, please contact your admissions counselor. We are here to help, and we might be able to help you find something that is acceptable for your student's application. So in the slides that are going to follow are just some examples of acceptable forms of proof of residency. So we have utility bills. Like stated in the previous slide, we do need to see the entire document. It has to be dated within 60 days. So we have here a Toledo Edison bill and a Duke Energy bill. Please don't mind the dates. As long as we can see all of that information, it has your name, the account number, the due date, we see the bill by dates, that is acceptable. Here are some more examples. One is a Dominion, the other is for a city. If you want to submit whatever city you live in bill, this is kind of an example of one that's in Union, Ohio. We accept those as well. Just make sure that it's dated within 60 days. We get the entire document and there are no disconnect or shut off notices. As stated in earlier slides, we cannot accept any bills that have any of these notices on it. Termination, disconnect, we are unable to accept it. Bank statements. So when you submit your bank statement, we will need to see the entire document, and it does have to be dated within the last 60 days. If you are not comfortable sending your account information, you can black out that information. The information that we need to see is the address, the bank logo, the dates, and that's about it. But we want to make sure that your privacy is protected as well as getting what we need to submit for your student's application. If at any time you have a question about the bank statement, you can contact your admissions counselor. A mortgage statement. Again, we will need to see the entire page and it has to be dated within the last 60 days. And as you can see, here's just an example of a mortgage statement. Rental or lease agreements. So the rental or lease agreement you submit for proof of residency has to be current. As you can see in the rental agreement example here, it's between Sally and John, and the address is listed on there as well. And the leasing terms are from April 2017 to April 2019. So we only need the first and the last page. On the first page, we need to see the parent or guardian name, the address, and the terms of the lease. And then we need the last page that has a signature of both the parent and guardian and landlord. Those are the only two pages that we need. We do not need any of the in-between, just the first, as long as it has the name, address, and terms, and the signature page that has the signature of both the landlord and the parent or guardian. You can submit a paycheck stub as proof of residency, as long as it's dated within the last 60 days, and it must have the parent or guardian name, address, and a date. As you can see in the example, it does have John Doe's name and address. If you do have a paycheck stub and it does not have an address, we are unable to accept that as proof of residency as it does not have the address on it. Here is some of the not acceptable forms of proof of residency, such as a rent receipt, a credit card bill, junk mail, a prepaid card, and a handwritten letter. We cannot accept any of these documents. So make sure that when you're going through to submit, you check and see that it's not one of these. If at any time you have a question about proof of residency, please reach out to your admissions counselor. We are here to help, and we will do what we can to help you submit proof of residency so we can complete your student's application and get them enrolled with us. We just need to be able to talk to you about it. Shot records. So you're probably wondering why an online school is requiring your student to submit shot records. Just like a traditional school, we are a state-recognized public school, so we will need to see the shot records as we adhere to the same standards as a brick-and-mortar school. If you do not administer shots to your student, please reach out to your admissions counselor. We do have a shot waiver form that we can have you fill out, which will take the place of the shot records. The picture to the right that you're looking at is a list of the shot requirements for students in various grades. So as you can see, there are some shots that are required, and we do look over the shot records to ensure that they are meeting all of these shot standards. So you may receive an email from us letting you know if your student is missing any shots. And if you have any questions about the shot records, you can always reach out to one of the admissions counselors. The income form and request for records. Both of these will be filled out either on a computer or mobile device. The income form is a form that we use for funding to provide such things as the laptops for the students to use or events that we hold throughout the year. The income form is also used to see if you qualify for our internet reimbursement, which is based on financial need. So for more information about the internet reimbursement program, we recommend that you speak with your student's advisor once they are enrolled. Please note, though, you do not have to submit any kind of an income documentation. You just fill out the form. For the request for records, it's necessary to get your students' records from their previous school. So on the form, make sure when you put their current school that you don't put OHDELA, that you put the school that they are attending while you're trying to enroll them, and then you can list any other schools that they have attended. If you are enrolling a kindergarten student who has not previously attended any school, you can just put NA in the fields. Device or computer. SPED documentations. So if your student receives any services through an IEP, ETR, or 504 plan, we will need those documents. These documents are important to make sure that there's no disruption of services, so if you submit them at the time of enrollment, our SPED team can look at them and then get your student right into the classes they need to be in without any disruption. If you have questions or concerns about submitting the SPED documents, please contact your admissions counselor. If you have questions about how OHDELA works with these documents, you can contact Cindy Johnson, our Director of Special Education, or Chad Skolny, who is our Curriculum Director, and he oversees our 504 plans. Report cards and transcripts. For grades K to 8, we request report cards, but if you're unable to provide the report cards, do not worry, we understand. For grades 9 to 12, we request transcripts so the advisors know what classes to put your students in. Then we want to make sure that they get in the right classes, and when they get their username and password information, they can just get right in and get going. So if you have a copy of their transcript and even their current schedule, that would be great. If you do not, that is okay too. Just kind of have an idea of what classes your student is taking or what classes the student has taken in the past, so that when you speak with your academic advisor, you can let them know kind of what has gone on before they came to OHDELA. For independent students, if you are between the ages of 18 and 21 and you're trying to enroll yourself, you will have to provide proof of income. That can be a recent paycheck stub from your place of employment, a Social Security award letter, a cash benefits letter from Job and Family Services. It can't just be that you get food stamps, it has to be an actual cash benefits letter. If you are unable to provide any of these items, you do not qualify to enroll independently per the Ohio Department of Education. So you can have a parent or guardian enroll you for you. So you still can enroll with OHDELA, you just have to have a parent or guardian submit the application and proof of residence and other documents for you. Please note though, if you're having someone other than your parent enroll you, they have to provide court-filed and stamped custody documents. The required documents, you can submit it one of 3 ways. You can fax it to the number on the screen. We do not recommend faxing birth certificates or IDs. They tend to come through too dark to read, but you can most certainly try it and see. Sometimes the faxes come through real clear, sometimes they don't. We don't recommend it, but if you'd like to try it, we would be more than happy to receive them via fax. You can scan and email them to admissions@delak12.com or directly to your admissions counselor, and you can also take photos and email them to admissions@delak12.com or directly to your admissions counselor. Just a few things about sending pictures. Make sure that when you're sending photos that they are clear. We want to be able to clearly see when we print them off what the document looks like. We also want to make sure it's of the entire document, not just pieces of the document. So for like a utility bill, sometimes they can be a little longer. You may have to zoom out, or for birth certificates, you may have to turn the camera sideways. Whatever you need to do to make sure that it's of the entire document and clear. And if at any time you're having trouble submitting the documents, please reach out to your admissions counselor. We are here to help you. Here's the contact information to the OHDELA admissions team, so if at any time you have any questions about documents, or you're having trouble with the application or submitting documents, or you have questions about the documents, you can contact us at any of these phone numbers or emails. And if you want to reach out to your admissions counselor directly, you can do that too. Their contact information will be in the signature of their email, but you could also call the 8168 number and ask for them directly. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. We do look forward to enrolling your student with us, and if at any time you have any questions, please give us a call. We are here to help you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.